Do you know which Special Forces unit has the highest global recognition? You probably only know about the Jiaolong Commando unit, right? Although Jiaolong has been showing up at major military expos quite a bit these past couple of years, and every appearance causes quite a stir in military enthusiast circles. There were even reports last year at the Brazil multinational exercise that Jiaolong operators were wiping the floor with their opponents from SEAL Team. But do you really think Jiaolong is that famous? International? No flattery, no bias. In terms of pure combat capability, Jiaolong doesn't fear anyone. But when it comes to name recognition, Jiaolong can only dream. Because there are at least 5 units in the world whose combat power is no weaker than Jiaolong or the SEALs, and whose global fame completely crushes both. Today I'm taking you through the 5 most globally recognized Special Forces units in the world, and we're going to look at just how strong they really are. Coming in at number 5 is Jiaolong itself. Jiaolong's predecessor was the Naval Special Operations Brigade, officially established in 2002, subordinate to the Marine Corps Command, a genuine maritime ace specializing in underwater infiltration and amphibious assault. This unit is China's core force for dealing with maritime threats, and the film Operation Red Sea was based on them as its prototype. But the real Jiaolong is even more legendary than the movie. In 2008, 70 operators deployed with the first escort formation to the Gulf of Aden, and over 8+ months successfully drove off pirates and rescued 18 Chinese and foreign merchant vessels. In 2015, during the chaos in Yemen, Jiaolong operators went with a naval formation to the Gulf of Aden, and within 72 hours safely evacuated over 600 Chinese citizens and 279 foreign nationals. In 2017, they rescued hostages from the Tuvalu cargo ship and captured 3 pirates alive in the process. On the international competition stage, they've gone head-to-head with top teams from the US and Russia and taken home multiple honors, showing the world exactly what Chinese special forces are capable of. Their primary rifle is the domestically produced QBZ-191, lightweight, high precision, and configurable, with suppressors, scopes, and grenade launchers depending on mission requirements, adaptable to both close-quarters assaults and medium to long-range sniping. For underwater operations, they carry specialized underwater rifles that solve the range and accuracy problems conventional firearms have in water. Many people mistakenly think Jiaolong is purely an underwater unit. That's a misunderstanding. This unit's core advantage is full domain combat, deep sea, land assault, and airborne infiltration. True tri-element elites, and their capability is firmly world-class regardless of how much or how little they get talked about. At number 4 is Britain's SAS, the Special Air Service. And if Special Forces have a founding father, it is absolutely this unit. Established during World War II, the SAS not only pioneered countless tactics and concepts in modern special operations, but became the template that forces worldwide copied and built upon, including America's own Delta Force and the SEALs. The legend has been running for over 80 years and shows no signs of fading. In 1941, in the Libyan desert on the Egyptian border, British officer David Stirling founded the unit then known as L Detachment. British forces were struggling badly in the desert campaign, unable to cope with German flexible tactics, so Stirling proposed a small elite unit going deep behind enemy lines for sabotage, reconnaissance, and harassment. After the war, the SAS was briefly disbanded, then reconstituted, and in 1952 was formally renamed the 22nd Special Air Service Regiment as a permanent fixture of the British Army. Their defining moment on the world stage came in 1980 during the Iranian embassy siege in London. 5 terrorists had occupied the Iranian embassy and were holding over 20 hostages. The SAS arrived by helicopter, fast-roped onto the roof, simultaneously broke through the embassy windows, and with precise shooting and seamless coordination neutralized every single terrorist and rescued all the hostages. The entire operation was broadcast live on television globally. That one event spread the SAS's reputation for formidable combat power and professionalism to every corner of the world, and cemented their status as the global benchmark for counterterrorism, a status they have never relinquished. Number 3 is Russia's Alpha Group, and in the counterterrorism world that name means one thing: zero tolerance. This unit is known for lightning-fast operations and ferocious combat power, and since its establishment has racked up an extraordinary record of classic battle results. During the 1979 Afghan military operation, Alpha created the legendary feat of seizing the presidential palace in 43 minutes and controlling the entire capital within 6 hours, a benchmark that few units anywhere have ever matched. Alpha was formally established in 1974, initially subordinate to the KGB, with every member selected from elite Soviet forces. The requirements were strict: politically reliable, physically outstanding, and proficient in combat, marksmanship, demolitions, and foreign languages. From the very beginning, Alpha established a clear operating principle: no pointless negotiations with terrorists. Resolve crises at maximum speed through decisive action. A lot of people are curious about the difference between Alpha Group and Russia's other elite unit, Vimpel. Simply put, Alpha is primarily responsible for domestic counterterrorism, handling hostage situations and crises on home soil, while Vimpel focuses on overseas covert operations. Two different roles, but comparable capabilities across the board. At number 2, the U.S. Navy SEALs. When most people think Special Forces, SEALs is the first name that comes to mind, and that's largely because of how constantly they appear in films, television, and news reporting. But setting the media halo aside, the hard capability genuinely backs up the reputation. Their tri-element combat ability and depth of real-world operational experience are virtually unmatched anywhere on the planet. SEAL is an acronym for Sea, Air, and Land, 3 words that precisely capture their full operational scope. Their origins trace back to 1942, when the U.S. Navy built the amphibious Scouts and Raiders to meet the demands of the North African theater. Those early operators infiltrated enemy beaches ahead of main assault landings, conducted reconnaissance, and guided the assault force in, playing critical roles at Normandy and Iwo Jima, and accumulating deep amphibious combat experience. After multiple reorganizations following the war, the unit was officially named SEAL Teams in 1962 and expanded into multiple combat squadrons. Their most celebrated operation was Neptune Spear in 2011. Operators flew in on stealth helicopters, infiltrated Pakistani territory, and the entire mission was completed in 40 minutes. Across the Gulf War, Afghanistan, and Iraq, they cumulatively executed thousands of special operations missions, covering behind enemy lines infiltration, intelligence reconnaissance, and targeted elimination. Advanced equipment, exceptional skills, and a combat record that genuinely speaks for itself. And at number 1, Delta Force. If the SEALs are America's Special Forces calling card, Delta is the ultimate trump card hidden in the shadows. A game called Delta Force recently pulled in a massive global player base and briefly pushed Delta's name recognition even past the SEALs themselves. But beyond the gaming world, in terms of actual combat power, Delta is undeniably top tier globally, exclusively executing the most dangerous, most sensitive special operations missions in existence, the Special Forces of Special Forces. Delta's formation came directly out of failure. In 1979, the U.S. Embassy in Iran was seized, and 52 hostages were taken. Operation Eagle Claw, the rescue attempt, ended in catastrophic failure. That defeat forced the U.S. military to confront a hard truth. It needed a dedicated unit built specifically for global counterterrorism crises. Colonel Charlie Beckwith, who had served in Vietnam and worked alongside the British SAS, proposed building something modeled on the SAS. Delta Force was born, formally designated the 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta. Their mission profile sits at the absolute top end of the spectrum: counterterrorism, hostage rescue, targeted elimination, and special reconnaissance on a global scale, deployed only when the highest-level national security threats are on the table. Known battle records include behind-enemy lines reconnaissance in the Gulf War, the Battle of Mogadishu in Somalia, and high-value target captures throughout the War on Terror. Many people debate whether Delta or SEAL Team 6 is the stronger unit. The honest answer is, they have different areas of focus. Delta dominates complex land environments, urban counterterrorism, and mountain warfare, while SEAL Team 6 owns maritime infiltration and underwater operations. But in terms of overall mission difficulty and classification level, Delta consistently draws the more dangerous and more secretive assignments, which is why most serious military enthusiasts consider them the strongest special forces unit on Earth. And because so much of what they do remains classified to this day, with many operations still not declassified, that only adds another layer of mystique to a unit that was already shrouded in it.